Well, final ban here for TNC. Of course, the gyrocopter was removed by Adroit, and thank goodness for that, John, because we've seen enough gyrocopter. In fact, you may as well just let TNC pick up the gyrocopter if you're looking for a win, as this hero just does not perform very well apparently. TNC, they do get rid of the Necrophos themselves, and we do have a third pick incoming. TNC are going to go into the Legion Commander. Not a hero we've been seeing over the past couple days, but it is a pretty potent hero.
It works well with a bounty hunter. It works well with Mirana. You've got a really straightforward way of maximizing all of those spells at once. You basically have the easiest arrow for the Mirana, so you're gonna have that damage coming out for the LC. You're gonna have the track kills start to rack up. TNC has to play this pretty fast pace though. Like once they have Legion Commander at 6, once they have the Bounty Hunter at 6, they should go around hunting for kills, building off those dual wins, building off those bounty kills, and just giving their team a bit of a head start in that sense. If they play it a bit slow with this kind of draft, we've seen what happens with a bounty hunter behind. If you're not finding those track kills, you're really not benefiting your team. So TNC has to play it a lot faster.
Well, Adroit, third pick for them now. Gonna have a little bit of a think about this one. Still plenty of reserve time left. I like how TNC has completely changed up their drafting style, I've got to say, because the last couple days has been really off for them. It's just good to see them really changing up the draft, as Adroit do go for the Void Spirit, which was left. It's been a very popular hero to pick up as of late. In fact, all the spirits are still there if they wish to counter picking up an Ember or a Storm. Adroit will take the Void for now.
Yeah, we've seen that a lot, of course, the past few days. A lot of teams have kind of not banned it out. I think in the past day at least, like yesterday, it was very low priority in the ban, so it has slipped through a couple of times. I think Adroit with that Void Spirit is setting themselves up quite nicely. There's no hard stuns from TNC. They do have the duel from the Legion Commander. That's probably the only thing they really have to worry about. Bounty Hunter's Shuriken Toss is nice, but it's not exactly the hardest lockdown, and Murano's Arrow can be played around with. You will have to maintain some decent vision there. TNC do fall back to that TA, so we are seeing our Melts TA come out. We know how potent he is on that hero, but the issue here for TNC is still an issue of timing. They're gonna have to really pick up the pace for their Legion Commander and their Bounty Hunter to give Armel the space he needs to be a complete menace on mid game.
Well, Adroit, how do we counter this? That TA, of course, as you already mentioned, Armel, he does perform pretty well in this hero. TNC has a very fast-paced sort of lineup, and it's going to be a very scary one at that. Adroit, they could always run the off-lane Void if they wanted to and pick up something like an Ember, I suppose, up against that TA if they so wish, and get the double spirits going.
Certainly an option. I'd say that would slow down the pace of Adroit just a bit. You would need to invest in some farm for the Void Spirit as well. And you already have the Shaker. You already have Boomy. He's probably going to need a lot of space to really get his own farm going. Instead, they go into the Troll Warlord. It's another option that works really great with a Chen. You've got that great sustain now for your entire team. The Troll is going to have multiple ways of staying alive and really just getting his battle trance off. It would be practical for TNC to try to build up into a Spirit Vessel fast, perhaps under Bounty Hunter in this case, just to kind of mitigate that sustain the entire team from Adroit will have. Of course, with that AoE, you're taking away from the Chen heal, you're potentially taking away from any mech burst heal as well. So you just have a lot going for you with that value pickup up against the specific lineup of Adroit.
TNC, final ban out. So they get rid of the Dazzle. I suppose with the Troll, you don't want to give that added value, especially up against when you do have a Legion Commander. Adroit, how do they want to finish this draft off? Rather this ban, they'll get rid of the Bristleback. Straight away, we go into the Storm Spirit pickup, so that's who they're going to run mid. Should be an offlane Void Spirit. Fair enough. Looks like a pretty powerful draft here from Adroit. TNC, they've kind of got the counters already for it, right? Like, you've got the LC, you've got a Mirana if you could hit that arrow, but mostly the LC is pretty darn good catch for the Storm.
Definitely. You're going to have to really weigh your targets here, though. Are you going to catch the Storm out, or are you going to catch the Void Spirit out? So it's going to be one of these heroes. Can't possibly be both with your set of stuns. Again, you're going to have to land an arrow on one of them, and then maybe go for the duel on the other one. But that's a pretty tall ask, although it might be a bit easier on something like the Void Spirit if you can estimate where they're jumping to. I
Yeah.
do like Adroit's last pick. I think it lanes well against the TA. As you a bit earlier on, as you go on, the TA should be able to draw even or pull ahead. The issue I have with Adroit's draft is it is going to be slightly slower. You can play the Void Spirit a bit faster. The Storm and Troll do take farm, and TNC responds in kind with a Monkey King. So they've got this way to really just play aggressive early on, play around their ultimates very early on, and as long as TNC gets that execution off, Adroit might not have enough room to get the farm and the EXP they need. Boomy, on the Shaker, he plays an amazing Shaker, but he takes investment. You do need investment to make that hero work. Your Void Spirit's not the most selfless offlaner in this case, although again, you can kind of play it in that way. You will lose some potency there if you don't give a little farm. And the Storm and Troll definitely need that. So Adroit is going for slightly slower draft, at very least slightly more farm hungry, whereas TNC really want to run at you. By the time they hit 6, they probably only need to buy space for Armel. That's it.
All right. Well, some things are getting fixed. Some things are becoming more broken over on my side of things, John. But luckily the draft is over and we can actually get into the game. And with all these technical issues, we'll hopefully have them fixed by game number 2. Just an FYI, John. I know everyone probably wants to see your beautiful face.
They'll have to wait.
They'll have to wait. Overall, I suppose I should ask you, before we get into that game 1, who do you think you prefer just based on draft?
I'd actually have to say TNC by draft. I think it's
Okay.
going to be a bit easier to pull this off. You're not as reliant in getting farm on, say, your Legion Commander, whereas for Adroit, Storm, the Troll, the Void all need some farm, and Boomy's Shaker. These are all fairly greedy heroes, whereas for TNC, you only really have to worry about the space that Armel will get on TA. Beyond that, Monkey King, you can make an argument, yeah, need some farm. Just what? I'd say if you're going to be fighting early on with your Bounty Hunter, you'd only really need perhaps the Echo. That's it. The Legion Commander just needs 6. You have everything else from the rest of your team to follow up from that damage. You just need to be able to jump up, get the duel off in any easy target, and build off that way. It's down to TNC having to play fast with his track. We did see them try to play faster yesterday. Didn't quite work out, but with this lineup, it should be a bit easier to pull off.
Definitely should be. We'll find out. Bot lane, there might be a small engagement. Boomy and CML moving up with Bok. Won't find anybody.
30 seconds to battle.
It looks like Adroit is going for a very early lane swap now as well. They are tossing Bok to the top lane. They're clumping a lot of heroes down bot. I think they're going to be going for that safe laner versus safe laner with an aggro try once more. And that's something they've done multiple times yesterday. I think it is really quite effective with how Adroit plays. They do tend to really shut down that opposing safe laner hard when they kind of go for these lane swaps.
Certainly do. But now it does look that way. Boomy, he does go for a creep lock with the Earthshaker. Pretty standard stuff. They do definitely want to get that equilibrium going ASAP. For now, March is going to be the only one there on the Bounty Hunter. Not going to have a lane partner quite yet, but KP will rotate down on the Legion Commander. You'll see Gabby up on the Monkey King. Up against, well, with Tim's on the Mirana, of course, up against Bok on that Void Spirit. Shouldn't be the easiest lane here for Bok, right? Like, it's never easy as a melee core up against a Monkey King of all things.
Yeah, it's not a good time for Bok, and this is probably the laning matchup TNC wants. They want to kind of bully Bok off, but they are immediately switching out from Adroit. So Natsumi goes top, Bok probably going to work his way down bot, and they are going to try to go for that safe laner versus safe laner matchup.
Yeah, CML will just literally recall Bok. No need to TP. I guess that's one of the very nice advantages of having a Chen on your team. You don't actually have to commit. In fact, a nice
Bok.
Aether Remnant onto KP. He was actually
Gonna have to
TPing
walk up.
away. That's huge.
Yeah, it's a lot of time that's going to be wasted by KP, and that's going to give them a lot of free space on both the top and bot lane.
We should have a quick look at the mid lane as well. Mel gonna be there on the TA, up against Mac on the Storm. Well, we'll see KP there for a second. The poor guy's had to run his way up top. Just makes a brief appearance as it looks like Adroit have already switched over Bok. He's back up to the top lane now. KP, where are you going, sir? Do you even bother running back down? You can't, right? You've just got to accept the fact that you've got to take this top lane now.
Yeah, for sure. There's just no way of switching out easily. They've committed to TPs. They're going to have to take these lanes as Adroit dictates them to be. It's not going to be the easiest time. I mean, KP's already stuck at level 1. He is going to hit 2 in a bit. But this is not the point where an LC can just dip into the jungle, especially when you go for level 1 overwhelming. You're going to have to try to harass people out in lane.
Easy shot.
Gabby being left alone a bit for the bot lane, but he's having a good old time, not really struggling whatsoever. Of course, playing a bit more cautiously now that he doesn't have his support too close by, but March will eventually join him up after a pull. We've seen March playing a lot of these bounty hunters as of late. It's been mixed results. In fact, mid lane Mac very, very low on HP. He will bottle up. He almost got taken down by Armel just with the side blades. It's another thing you've got to be very careful about when you're versing an Armel TAs. He does tend to hit those side blades pretty well, but top lane CML will go down as the first blood, and Tims will be the one to pick it up on the Mirana.
Really important kill for TNC. I think they really need to find these early pickoffs with the potential they have. What are really strong supports. Tim's just finding that arrow and the damage from the Starstorm in the end does pay off, and that does give CML a free reset if you want to be optimistic for Adroit, but this gives a lot of EXP towards this Mirana, which you definitely need on a hero like this.
March now actually starting to rotate a bit on this bounty. Looking towards that mid lane, but Mac has already left, and now Gabby, he's going to get jumped while March is gone, although Boomy doesn't really connect the Fisher. He does block the way, however, and Gabby, can you get out of this? He'll eat a tango, but it looks like he is going to go down regardless. Boomy will be the one to pick up the kill on the Earthshaker.
Again, this time a nice pick-off going the way of Adroit. You're going to be really happy as well. You managed to find that core instead. So March does get to live this time around. He's not being punished on Bounty Hunter as much, but really not too much to try to save his core in that case. And the Bunker King's not going to be too happy about that, although it does look like Gabby is going to take this opportunity to switch lanes.
Well, March now going to get jumped on the bounty. They have dust available as well. Boomy had it in his bag, and this will mean a secondary kill down to this bot lane. This time Natsumi will be the one to pick it up on the troll.
Yeah, just, again, more punishment coming out from Adroit. TNC is still trying to respond to these lane swaps. This is going to cost them early on. There's not much you can expect from the solo bounty hunter to really get done there. March does teleport back bot to soak that lane. You do see 3 heroes up top for now, but TP is coming out from KP. So again, playing that chasing game would be ideal matchups for TNC. Pretty late in, though. We are at 5 minutes. It's a late point to lane swap.
It is. KP just gonna come anyway, like they just don't feel confident, although Natsumi is there with Boomy with a fantastic Fisher block, but KP can always just press the attack and run away. Now you've got Bok down here. Bok does rotate. Meanwhile, mid lane, however, Tims rotates and Armel does pick up a kill on the TA. They're gonna start forcing in that tier 1 tower.
It's one of the things that Adroit is ignoring and kind of just letting be. Is Armel is actually finding that really good early game that he needs on TA. This is something we talked about from TNC's draft. Their TA is the only one that actually needs to get online very fast. Armel is certainly up there. He's whittled down this tier 1 all the way down to less than half HP. if Adroit's not careful, they're going to lose a lot of ground fast, and Armel's farm will just escalate from this moment on. They're not going to be able to scout out those side camps near the mid lane without access to that tier 1. For Armel, it's just really going to find all the farm he needs.
Right, he's got the T1 tower just within 6 minutes. It was no problem for him. Tim's now gets a very nice arrow onto Mac, but there'll be no real follow-up to Tim's. But he's doing a lot of damage to Mac, who isn't currently level 6, so he'll keep chasing Tim's. He does now hit the 6, and Mac gonna play around with this, though he may go down. He does have the ball lining away, and here comes Bok, rotating in to try and take out this Mirana. A very, very close call for Mac. I believe that that creep wave of the T2 tower allowed him to hit that level 6 timing just before Tim's was able to finish the job off.
It's a bit of a tight time here for Adroit. Like, you're not getting the best of times with Mac. You saw how precarious his situation is. TNC is actually setting this early game pace quite nicely. It is fairly even on the kill board. The net worth is not too wide yet coming out from TNC. It is just a slight 1k lead. But you have to take a look at that net worth. Even sub 10 minutes in, Armel is already solidly in front of everyone else. And this is going to cause complications for... You don't see the same kind of farm coming out from Adroit. You do have a decent start in Natsumi. He's about 700 gold behind. Not too bad, especially at this point in the game, but the impact control has with that early farm is not the same.
Boundless Strike, Gabby is still in huge trouble, but he may get away here. Fisher, Boomy, he won't throw it out. Just didn't have vision with the tree dance from Gabby, and he will be able to salve up. A very close call for this Monkey King once again, and if this keeps up, Gabby, he's going to fall really far behind, but TNC doesn't like... Well, maybe they are going to help him out. They jump onto Boomy, but Natsumi comes in now. If they get this kill for the Earthshaker kill, it's well worth it. And Gabby, he's falling very, very low. Bok, he doesn't have much mana left and doesn't really have anything to throw out. He does mischief for a second, but they found the Monkey King. Can they at least get more here on TNC? No, Mac. He rotates in on the Storm. March will go down to the 8th Remnant, and Armel can't find any sort of trade for his team as Bok, he's going to TP out. Tim's, he gets the arrow off in time. Bok needs to make a run for it now, but he should die. Or maybe not. Armel kind of misplaces the trap. But Meld Strike, there's no mana on Bok. There's no way he gets out of this. He does have an 8th Remnant, but he will wait for the Astral Step arrow. Not going to connect, and he does make it out.
Yeah, a nice little escape. In the end, they do find the kill they want. They did have to drop Boomy earlier on, but you're going to be happy with that still. More kills up top.
Certainly so. Boomy does get caught out. That'll be the first duel victory of the game coming out from KP. Gabby, of course, there to help out, and they're going to try and force in this tier 1 top tower. And TNC will maintain that net worth lead. 2k going their way. And although this Monkey King hasn't really farmed exceptionally well, it still seems like TNC is well on track.
Definitely. They found all the farm they wanted on their big heroes. They are applying pretty decent pressure on the map. Adroit is responding well enough, but this isn't usually the Adroit you tend to see. Adroit likes to be the one setting the pace. Adroit likes to be one dictating these fights. They're just not able to because their draft is just so much slower. And TNC now is making great use of this early draft. They just need, I'd say the only thing that's lacking is levels on March. You want that bounty 106 to get track kills.
He found Bok again. The jewel is going to wear off. Boundless Strike does come in, and they do secure the kill. No jewel victory, but it doesn't really matter. Great kill going out for TNC. And I love this aggression coming out from this Radiant side. It just feels like it's something we haven't seen from TNC for quite a while now. But they do bring it out again, and it's really working out quite well.
Definitely. They're playing around their timings well. I like the prioritization on just finding kills with KP, with Gabby around, just not taking that slow approach with these kinds of heroes. They know they have an early level advantage. They know they're stronger at this point to get this kind of fight out. And Adroit just is forced to respond, but it's never a favorable response, although they are clumping around at tier 1.
They're going to try for something. Natsumi, I think he's going to have to back here. Tim's, he does arrow the siege creep, so a lot of that push potential gone, though. Boomy going to jump in now. He does have Echo, and Mac will jump straight onto that LC. Echo committed as well. KP is down. Tim's, he will be fine. They want March on the bounty, of course. And March will also die as Natsumi's still man fighting, but doesn't have mana for Battle Trance.
Oh no.
He's trying to run away, but he should just die, and he does. Tims picks up that kill. Boomy looks to go down now as Gabby does chase him on the Monkey King. And just a slight error. I think they were expecting to be able to use that trance to really keep the fight going. Now Mac trying to TP away, but Armel. Just so much attack, and that's 4 for nothing.
TNC just really bringing it to Adroit today. I love how much more active they are on the map. Even Armel is just ready to go without finishing the Desolator off, without his Blink Dagger up and running. He's just ready to be with his team, to find these counter kills, to force Adroit to play from behind, which is honestly not where Adroit likes to play. They're never used to playing from that position. They do this when Boomy plays a greedier hero. They are more than likely waiting for that Blink Dagger to be up before they take the fights. It's the same kind of mindset when they give Boomy his mag, but it just takes a lot of time. The issue is TNC is actually clearing out a lot of the map in this downtime. They've got a 4K lead now at 12.5 minutes in. You've got Armel at 6.8K net worth. He just finished up his Desolator. Earlier fights didn't even have it. He's going to be working towards his Blink next. You take a look at Gabby. He's not been slowed down. His farm is pretty darn good, although he doesn't have any major item up yet. But once that Diffusal Blade's up, you're really just going to lose. It's already an issue having that mana up, but you really just won't have anything to fight with from Adroit if you're not careful.
Oh, Moonlight Shadow going to be popped. TNC going to start moving forward. See if they can find another jewel for KP. They may run it into Boomy and Bok. They avoid that for now. Tims will arrow down one of the Chen creeps. And this smoke rotation not really going to lead to anything. TNC just cancels it off. And I guess they could still fight. They are still looking very, very strong. KP spots out Mac. Doesn't really have the blink yet, so can't really close the gap against the Storm. And instead, they're just going to maintain control of this jungle. Like, that's all they seem to want.
Yeah, it's stark contrast to their movements yesterday. Yesterday, they were a lot more defensive. They were only planting wards on their side of the map. They weren't going for these aggressive smokes. This time around, this smoke came out because March hit 6. They've got the track. They know they've got to use it. They don't find anything, but it's the understanding that they need that aggression is what's really different from yesterday's series. And of course, knowing that the jungle's empty, they can safely go for the Roche.
That they will. Roshan going down very quickly thanks to Armel's Deso. I imagine you just give the Aegis to Armel and they will. First Aegis of the game going down at around 14.5 minutes. Now they go top where Mac, he may have overextended his march. Gonna get the track off Mac, he has no mana. He tries to TP, but the Shuriken toss, the Boundless Strike, and now the Jewel will come out from KP. 10 to 6. The net worth lead just increasing as time goes on, but currently at 4K. I don't know, John. I mean, how do you come back into this if you're Adroit? It's looking really bad.
The issue for Adroit's draft is that they don't have anyone that can just kind of be sacrificed right now. You don't have any hero that can just kind of cop short farm. Nice arrow from Tims to grab that rune. But that's the issue here. TNC is going to be looking to play aggressive. They're already piling up in dual wins. They're going to be starting to pile up on the track kills. And from there on out, that net worth lead we see at 5K is only going to widen. Adroit needs to somehow find a way to split this farm evenly and safely. They're just not able to do that. I think the best thing you could hope for is perhaps to always have CML step out of the jungle, just stop trying to farm up, or at least maybe after the mech, leave the jungle and kind of be the sacrificial distraction that Adroit need.
Well, Boomy gets jumped on, Meld Strike from Armel, and there's the jewel from KP. Trying to defend the T1 tower and clear out the creep wave, but it's just no good when Armel's around. Right now, nobody's really safe. As long as Armel wants you dead, you're probably going to die.
Oh yeah. It's just, he's definitely online. There's just nothing to stop him from getting that work done. And that's mainly because they left him alone in lane. Armel had a free time against the Storm Spirit. They didn't invest in any sort of support rotations. He's just free to do what he wants.
Bok jumps in, just trying to clear out the creep wave down at the bot lane. Aether Remnant won't connect. Natsumi not going to hit the slow. They're going to keep trying to defend, it looks like, but I just don't think it's possible. Maybe just go for the deny attempt. Natsumi, he does pick it up. A very nice deny. So some gold denied away from TNC, but the mid lane, there may be a fight breaking out. Boomy, he does get defused, but Gabby doesn't really want to make the chase.
Okay, this is a bit of a turning point for Adroit. They have the Blink and Boomy. This is when they should be aggressive, when they should be trying to find those kills. You do see the smoke out from CML. Gonna try to maximize this item reveal, but they're already on top, TNC.
Boomy right on top of him as well. They go on to Mac. Mac, he will be able to get away. Now the Fisher. This could be the team fight they needed as the Vortex is going to be there. Gabby, where's the Wukongs? It does come out, but Mac is taking down Armel. Everyone will survive. Aether Remnant does not latch to anyone. So an unsuccessful team fight for TNC. Adroit don't really get anything out of it anyway. They just kind of defend their tier 2 tower. And TNC, they're sticking around for now. I thought they may go for a reset. But that Natsumi kill would be quite tempting to try and take. Natsumi trying to bait them in. His whole team right behind him. Armel gonna start with the traps. Natsumi gets tracked up as well. And he's falling very, very low. One meld strike and he loses half his HP, and Armel looking to go for more but couldn't quite reach. TNC will just continue to control up this dire jungle.
They're definitely still very far ahead, right? 8k lead, they've got the map control. Adroit is trying to find a way back in. They haven't quite revealed the Blink Slam, although I'm sure TNC's aware of it. They've got track on Boomy for a long time. But they need to maximize this item pickup. This is why they were playing so slow. This is why Boomy wasn't as active with the rotations, because he was trying to find a way to get this gold up. And if they don't manage to make use of this utility that they suddenly have, then they're just not going to be able to bounce back in. They need to find those key kills. Armel was just free to take that top tier 2. No contestation coming out from it. And TNC is just playing in that entire dire jungle. There's no vision from Adroit to even see this happening. They only have one ward in their southern jungle. That's it.
Well, Aegis will expire. That is somewhat of an opening here for Adroit if they did want to try and take a team fight up against TNC, but it is still very, very dangerous. I mean, they're 8k behind. Milk just going to get that tier 2 mid tower. There'll be no defense to come out from Adroit. Now the BKB will be up on the TA, and that makes things that much harder. I suppose all Adroit can do is just keep farming. Just hope and pray that eventually Armel will drop off on the TA, and maybe you can take this this late game.
They are trying. Like, they are trying to finish up Bok's Ags. It's still a long way away, but of course we know what happens when you do have that tool up. Just a lot more utility from our Void Spirit. Not going to do too much against that BKB on Armel. It will give you something against everyone else. So you do have a way to get that done. I think now Adroit has to be very cautious about where Armel is. They need to kind of isolate him first, take him out, because they have nothing to really pierce through that BKB. They don't really have any control, and a lot of their damage is going to be magical. It's riding on Boomy's AoE, it's riding from Max Storm, it's riding from the Void Spirit's Burst. Their troll is nowhere near ready. Only has that diffusal up, still working on Yasha. You compare that to Gabby, at least has the BKB with the diffusal, so he's going to be hitting harder in front of everyone for a much longer time. And these BKBs are something that TNC wants to use. These smoked up.
Oh, Boomy tracked up. Gabby with a defusal blade, they'll take that one easily, or maybe they won't. Fisher comes out, Natsumi, he does finish his TP, and now Boomy is TPing as well. He's gonna make it!
Man.
They got too greedy. They wanted both, but they couldn't get either.
Small mistakes like that could potentially cost TNC, and like Adroit's gonna be very happy with slipping out there. It's their turn to smoke out. It's their turn to try to find something, and they do.
Yeah, they're going to go after KP. KP falling very, very low already, though. Nice arrow does connect onto Bok. Still KP has died. Now Gabby pops his own BKB, goes for the Wukongs. Everyone's just going to try and run as Boomy even gets a 3-man Fisher off and just makes a run for it. They should be able to get him in the end, but now Natsumi, this is a dangerous fight. He does have trance, but he is stunned up and he's not able to use his ultimate. And Bok even does get the Yules off. At least he is able to get away, but there was really no necessity for Natsumi to die like that. And I mean, it's been multiple times now where he just couldn't get that battle trance off in time. In fact, I don't even remember seeing one yet.
No, hasn't come out yet, and it's going to be a massive issue for Adroit if that keeps happening mid-fight. TNC had a couple of interesting things happen there as well. KP was controlled up first. I think Gabby popped his BKB, but had his tree chopped in nearly the same tick, so he was on BKB but stunned up on the ground for a long time. That did take away from some of that initial utility TNC had. It felt like Adroit could have found a little bit more. Again, they did not expend the slam from Boomy, which allows them to smoke up once more, trying to find something. They need to get that perfect initiation going. They need to be able to leverage the Shaker. They just haven't yet.
Well, they've still got that Echo, so they can use it now. Boomy does not get that Enchant Totem off. Now Shuriken toss Fisher, but KP has jumped in with the duel, and Armel will finish the job, and now Natsumi, he's in trouble. The arrow, Tims! He hits it every time! And CML, gonna get chased down, does go down as well.
I saw that ending from my
Tims is just on point with the arrows today, John. He is making this troll's life a living hell.
Definitely is. He's on top of everyone that he needs to be on top of. His arrows just always land the key targets. That's without the Yules. He has the Yules up and running now. He can just set up for himself. And Adroit has nothing to defend against it. They just have no tools, no farm, no items to really speak of to counteract what TNC has. With its Aegis and Cheese now, it's going to be so much harder to try to defend that high ground. They will kind of rely on getting a big initiation or a pick-off, but they keep trying to pop out of their base to find some farm when March is just being super effective with the track.
He has been very, very good with this bounty hunter, just always keeping up the vision. TNC 15k net worth lead at 24 minutes in. Look at that win probability, and it's currently sitting at 96% the way of TNC. I'd have to agree. They just keep this up. I can't imagine them really losing this matchup. Like, Armel is just way too far ahead.
He's way too big in the TA. The key thing for Adroit is that they haven't gotten anything to still play with. You could try to buy some time from Mac, finish up his Ags as well. He's just about 700 gold off. I think once you have that, you're going to have a lot more control. You're not going to be as pressured on Boomy to wait for them to clump up. You can kind of clump them up yourself with Mac, but it doesn't feel like it's enough. You have to remember the BKBs are flying out in TNC. They've got 2 lives on their TA right now. They've got a Cheese to worry about as well.
Yeah, he gets Yule's up, so he does at least purge off that silence. He will actually get away as Boomy will probably be the one taken out, though no. They cancel his TP as well. He tried. It's better than Bok dying.
Definitely. Still a bit of a loss for Adroit. That's a whole minute where they don't really have that big teamfight potential, and you've got Gabby scouting really far forward.
Moonlight Shadow, they'd love to find Mac again. Gabby gets a defusal off onto CML, actually connects with the Boundless Strike onto 2, and KP will be able to get the duel off, and now Bok comes in. Gabby has Wukongs if he needs it. He does not.
They find 2 free kills, they pull back. It's another dual win for KP, 58 damage already. Not the most impressive amount, but he doesn't really need too much. Armel is the damage dealer in this game. And Adroit is going to be stuck in a situation where they just don't have the most impressive high ground defense beyond a Shaker. They will have the Ags on Mac, 50 gold away. Can't afford to die here with these risky plays. Once that's up, maybe we see the high ground really work in their favor. They're not going to have buyback on Mac if they do buy out in this item.
We kind of needs it. That's the thing. Like, I don't know if they can really defend high ground without that Ags. At least for now, they won't have to. TNC, they aren't pushing yet, but they are slowly creeping their way up.
And there's no pressure here for TNC. They've got everything they could possibly want. Their cores do have better scaling for the most part. Adroit does have some ways of trying to match up. The farm's really not there. 16k behind, 27 minutes in.
Oh,
They
Tim's
have
with
to
the
itemize.
arrow. He connects onto Bok again, and now
Oh,
the
man.
duel comes in, KB. He does not want to waste this opportunity, though. Nice hills coming out. It's not going to be enough. Mac, he's being used up. Tim's, he hits another arrow. Are you kidding?
Oh. We questioned that. Marana, Tim's is just playing fantastically today with all of these setups. Another one!
Yeah, Bok's got a bullseye on his back. He needs to be very careful. Nice remnant. Does connect. They net him up as well. Armel starting to fall low. He does have the Aegis anyway. They won't even bother trying to risk it to take the Aegis out. They have successfully defended high ground. Their tier 3 got low, but it's not down yet. So, in some weird way, Adroit could call that a win.
Arguably, yeah, that is a slight win. As far as the situation goes, they still have their objectives. They're not quite finding anything else on the map. I think they really need to take the team fight they want. They're going out of their base to find
Adroit?
a really risky move.
Going out without smoke as well. Just kind of walking up. Arrow. We're not connecting on anything this time around, but KP, he does get in there with the jewel, and immediately Boomy is going to be eliminated. The nice Aghanim Scepter Vortex. They will get KP. Armel, he BKB's up. He doesn't want to lose this Aegis quite yet. But Armel, he was stuck there for a while. He does eventually survive as the Aegis does expire. So it heals him up all the way. That would have been amazing timing had Adroit actually found him. But that Aegis, healing him up, and he does manage to get out.
Yeah, it did expire mid-fight. I think right when they jumped into Boomy, right after that did go away. So it was a bit of a risk for TNC, but the moment you take Boomy out, they just kind of lack control to keep everyone in place. And that is something TNC is aware of. Like, the moment they just need to hunt Boomy down. And then the team fight from Adroit, yeah, with max Ags, you can at least have a little bit more control. There's no follow-up for that control. It's all just damage, and right now that's just not enough to clean up the cores on TNC. They have a lot of leeway there. You take a look at Gabby, just finishes up that Scotty. So whatever burst regen you get from that Chen, completely gone, or at the very least mitigated.
Natsumi gonna jump in. Oh, the Fisher Boomy, he blocked his teammate in, and now they duel him up. Oh no, CML gonna get taken out. This could be over. As another arrow connects onto Bok, he will be able to at least try and get out. Astral Step, but he's been tracked up, he's been slowed, and Armel does finish the job. That is not the way you want to start a team fight.
Definitely not.
It just gets worse and worse as now Mac is really the only one up to try and defend this.
They still
TNC.
have the Echo Slam when Boomy does respawn, but it's a tall order. No one else is going to be up in a while. At the very least, you're not going to have Bok. You're going to have your Natsumi Troll to try to do the damage, but you really need to give Bok the opportunity to get that slam every single time. He's just not able to. I don't think we've actually even seen him use that Echo Slam just yet. A lot of hesitation from Adroit to use that spell, and it's costing them a lot. This is probably their last fight.
Love the fact that they tip Mel when he's disconnected. They don't even want him to know that he's getting those free shards. It's TNC gonna finish off 2 racks. They'll leave the top one, so not exactly megas yet by any stretch of the imagination. But Mac gonna zip in, gets a vortex, but it's only on creeps, so nothing will come out of that. And TNC 1 racks away from megas, 29k net worth lead. Adroit, I mean, they have to have a miracle team fight.
Definitely. They really need to land every single spell. They have to let Boomy sit at the back. They need someone else to bait in because they're not finding them with these smokes. Just have someone else stand in front, give Boomy the clearance to come in and get his slam off, because every time he's picked off first, it just ends in a total disaster. So they do have some breathing room here. TNC's not forcing it out quite yet, despite the major item pickups they do have. Natsumi does finish up a halberd, so you have a way of dealing with Armel at the very least, or Gabby, or even KP. But that's just going to be one target to kind of take out for a while.
Well, Smoke going to be there from TNC now. They'll start moving their way in as Yules is going to be there onto Bok. No follow-up to it. KP, Jewel, he found Mac. It's a huge kill if he finds him. Yeah, he does go down very easily. He'll buy back immediately, but CML also goes down. The buyback out from him as well. And now Bok going in on his KP. A300 does connect. Natsumi is there to follow up. KP just will use the press the attack, and well, they just jump in, but Armel is cleaning up. KP does finally go down. Natsumi with the battle trance, but now they've lost Mac. The GG's been called. They tried, but it felt like they needed a huge echo and a huge vortex, and everything just needed to be perfect, and it just never happened.
Never happened. TNC this time playing a lot more aggressive with their draft, really maximizing that bounty hunter this time around and the Tim Smaranda. Absolutely shining performance from them this time around. Adroit looking a bit flimsy, trying to play the long game, trying to play greedy with giving Boomy a playmaking here that just takes a bit too far. With tree farm heavy heroes, never finding that space and falling behind minute 10. So TNC just managing to overtake, looking really strong, a lot better than yesterday's suit. We'll see if they can keep up that pace in game number 2.
Yeah, they'd love to get a 2-0 victory against Adroit and get a bit of revenge. We'll find out if that does pan out, as it is MLP johnxfire. The next game will start in about 10 minutes. So we'll be right back with that second draft in hopefully just a moment.